XRP at 180 billion. What's stopping it from going to 1 trillion? I feel like once Bitcoin is at 5 trillion, XRP can definitely push up to 1 trillion. It's nothing stopping it from being that.
Coming in at 4,641. It's down about 1%. And XRP, yeah, buddy, coming in at $3.04. It is down 3%. Total cryptocurrency market cap, it's in the red just a little bit, but look, we're over 4 trillion. At the end of this bull run, at the end of this bull cycle, I told you where I want us to be, 7 to 10 trillion. That is the magical number. I do not want to see 4 to 6, 4 to 7. I don't want to see it. I want 7 to 10.
Yeah.
That will make us all.
$7 to $10 would be amazing, but if we want to see $7 to $10, again, a lot of positive news needs to happen. It's not going to be super easy to hit $7 just like that, because we're struggling at $3. But again, a lot of this news is pushing XRP towards the good prices.
All extremely happy if we get to those numbers. Now
I mean, a lot of people would be extremely happy. That would be like a 3x of what it already is. And I would be extremely happy if we see those prices. But again, we have to hit every spot right if we want to see that.
Talk about Bitcoin real quick. Let's talk about where Bitcoin started and where it is, and then let's talk about what does repricing actually mean. Here's your Bitcoin history chart. Since 2009, look, this thing started at pennies, dollars, 6 cents. In 2010, 25 years ago, you could have got Bitcoin for 20 cents. 2011, you could have got it for $1. 2012, you could have gotten Bitcoin for $4.
Same with XRP. The reason why most people didn't buy it is because it could not be sold on exchanges. So you couldn't sell it at all on exchanges because of the lawsuit. That's why it was super cheap. It was 10 times cheaper to get it at that point. But those times are long gone, really.
And people back then were screaming, it's overvalued, it's overpriced. This is just some internet money. It's never going to go anywhere.
Same for XRP, because it didn't have the technology then, like in 2017.
And as the years went on, people started catching on. My first bull run, 17,000. Bitcoin went up to. We then got the little correction. Then Bitcoin went all the way up to 69,000. We then got the little bit of a dip, and now Bitcoin is up over $100,000. That was Bitcoin's moment, Bitcoin's repricing moment. So what does that actually mean? Repricing isn't just about a chart breakout, everyone. It's when the world looks at an asset and it says, we've been valuing this wrong. And that's what happened in Bitcoin. 2014, $700. Come 2017, it was close to 20K. That was its first repricing event. And then as more institutions got involved, more bigger name clients like your Fidelities, JP Morgan, BlackRock, when they started to speak.
Exactly. They used to say that it will never go past $1 XRP. Suddenly, wow, the technology is really good, and that's when suddenly they decided to buy the whole, like a very big supply of XRP. So that's how they won. They've bought a very big supply and they beat over everyone, like in time basis. They won on that part. So we are literally seeing the money move hands.
Think about it and get involved. Bitcoin had its repricing moment, currently sitting above $100,000. Right now, XRP is still being treated like it's a speculative token. But in reality, it's the settlement layers for banks, payment providers, and central bank digital currencies. When institutions recognize that, the market just doesn't inch up, everyone. It resets. This is from Ripple's website from 2025. A couple of months ago in May, Cross-Border Payments, a guide to international payments. Ripple really breaks this down. And this plays us directly into repricing and what it means, because people do not understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, the cross-border payments are getting super expensive now. Like, sending from one country to another. Ripple is literally working on changing that. Ripple is gonna change that to make everything super easy, like no transfer fees, nothing at all. And once they do that, it's gonna be way up from there.
What XRP, what its role is going to be in this new financial era that we are entering. We have not yet to have our XRP moment. And Ripple is going back to XRP 101, talking about payments. How do cross-border payments work? 99.9% of people have no understanding of how a cross-border payments work. They do not get Nostro Vostro accounts. They don't understand how much money is actually moved cross-border. That is why you got to go back and look at these Ripple articles. This is what they are talking about here. They are breaking this down in its simplest of forms. So when institutions recognize, and trust me, these institutions are playing it off right now. They understand what Ripple is doing. They understand where the world of cross-border payments and payments in general is moving to. They haven't told you yet, because when they tell you, it is too late. So when institutions start to recognize this, and just like they did with Bitcoin, when they started talking about Bitcoin, when they start talking about XRP, the market isn't just going to inch up on XRP. It is going to reset. It is going to have its Bitcoin moment, where it was $3, and next thing you know, it's $3,000.
Yeah. Here is where it's really important. Like, you can have a coin that does nothing, and then yeah, it pumps because it's hype around it. It's a meme coin, and you can have then actual coin with utility that suddenly changes everything overnight, changes the entire ecosystem. Now that's real power. That's real power to me. It is definitely incredible how far XRP has done. Good job on them. It's a very good video, by the way.
Just like Tesla stock went from being a niche car company to being repriced as the future of transportation, XRP will be repriced as the foundation of global liquidity.
If you want to be a $1 trillion company like Tesla or XRP, you have to bring something new to the market. And that's exactly what XRP did. What they did is went from being, just like Tesla invented, electric cars, or at least modernized them. XRP is doubling down and actually going for the same thing. It's trying to modernize the financial system where it's cheaper, faster, and stronger. What does everybody need? It needs to send these cross-border payments, right? Everybody needs to send some payments nowadays, even for paying utility bills. It is crazy how important this is.
So what's the big signal? Right? Ripple's regulatory clarity, and Cointelegraph breaks this down. The whole lawsuit and where this went to. And to get to the last part, which talks about how the lawsuit has strengthened XRP's narrative. So the big signal here is it's a combination of the ETF filings and those deadlines coming in October, Ripple's regulatory clarity, and banks publicly integrating blockchain settlement. We have ISO 20022, which we touched on in the first video today. Swift told us that November it is going live, no more delays.
Nice.
This will be the flip of the switch moment where they will need to integrate blockchains. This is the green light that the institutions have been waiting for. They don't FOMO into hype. They move when the rules are clear and the rails are built. That moment is here, and its ignition point clear for XRP. This thing is ready to go. And as we look at XRP over here on CoinMarketCap, and we go back all time and we look at this right here.
This is right before, again, this is not during the lawsuit. Guys, this is when XRP announced its major move and when we saw the 2017 pump. And this pump exactly is the same patterns. Look, it's same patterns, but the issue here is we're not at all-time highs. Why? Because 2017 was way easier to pump the markets, but it was also way easier to basically get in. And I feel like there was also way less money. So inflation adjusted, like XRP all-time highs are seriously at $4.2.
This is what we call uncertainty. Until we get into 2024 and we slowly start climbing up, because we get the narrative start to form back in 2024. right? The lawsuit is coming to closure and it's very clear that Ripple is winning and that XRP will not be a security. Institutions start talking about XRP ETFs, all the narrative about Swift moving over and how the Swift system is going to be replaced. So the supply shock here that no one's talking about. Here's the math that the market isn't pricing in, right? XRP has a max supply of 100 billion tokens, but only about 55 billion is circulating. The rest is locked in escrow, released slowly every month if it's released. It doesn't have to be. Meanwhile, trillions of dollars are moving through Swift daily. If just a fraction reroutes through XRP, the available liquidity gets swallowed instantly. Folks, that's a supply shock. When demand rockets higher than what's available, forcing a repricing across the entire market. It's exactly what we're seeing with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin miners cannot mine enough Bitcoin to fill the supply is out there. So what happens? Supply shock hits and price goes up and price shoots through the roof. Remember, Bitcoin was one.
That's what's happening now. Just yesterday, we got more news that there is a supply shock. We had more news. XRP had a supply shock just yesterday. So let that sink in. When you have so much of the supply shock, the prices are bound to go up. And of course, there might be drops after because these whales will notice that and put it on exchanges and sell again. But again, it's a very, very good pricing at this point.
It's a buck. It's now over 100,000. And BlackRock, Fidelity, the biggest asset managers alive are starting to model it at a $1 million per coin. Why? Because it was repriced.
Now, I don't think 1 million per coin will happen. That's very expensive.
Not as internet magic money, but as digital gold. XRP is setting up
That's the issue. Bitcoin is already a digital gold, is it not?
the exact same way, except instead of digital gold, it is the plumbing of the financial system. Repricing takes an asset from niche curiosity to global necessity, and that's where XRP is headed. And the timeline is simple, right? We follow Bitcoin's timeline. Bitcoin went ETFs, hype, dip, liftoff. XRP ETFs, partnerships, clarity, hype, dip, repricing.
Exactly. ETFs are the big gainer for XRP right now.
Liftoff. We're in the hype stage now. Institutions don't chase green candles. They accumulate in a dip.
Much love from Houston, Texas. Much love back, bro. How do you know when a whale puts on XRP on an exchange? Well, usually you can see the transfers, right? That's the thing. XRP has been, it's everything is open with XRP. So when the price dips, you can also see like, oh, they put it on exchange from their own wallet.
But when the floodgates open and real settlement volumes ramp up, XRP's price won't climb. It will be repriced overnight. And if you've been in crypto long enough, you know December is when the fireworks go off. And this December could be XRP's ignition month. Folks, XRP isn't a trade anymore. It's entering a repricing cycle that the world cannot stop. Bitcoin already proved this playbook works. Now XRP is about to write its own chapter. Supply shock, institutional demand, and a reevaluation that could leave most people in disbelief. Don't ignore the signal. Don't sleep on the setup. This is how generational wealth.
So yeah, this is a very good point. Very good video overall. We saw the same patterns we're seeing with Bitcoin and Ethereum with XRP. The patterns are repeating itself, and that's what makes it great. All the time, these patterns are, really changing for the better. So again, I'm really, really excited. Is this going to be the main big hit for XRP? So who knows? Could be, could very much be. And I would definitely love that, to see XRP pump like that.